Tammy, I thought a good way to start out would just be to ask you, how did you discover or realize that you had the abilities you had? And maybe you could speak specifically what those abilities are and how you discovered you had them.
Okay. So first of all, I'm 60 now, so it's been my entire life that I've done this. So my first experience, even though it was so many years ago, play out every day. I can still see it every day. I was 8 years old, and back then we used to stay the night at friend's house and a whole group of girls, and the first one that fell asleep, you'd put peanut butter, you know, just all the not good things. So I was doing everything to stay awake, not be that person. Well, everyone had fallen asleep, and I started to finally fall asleep. And my friend Samantha's grandpa wouldn't leave me alone. He just kept talking to me, to the point that I finally woke her up and explained what he looked like. Please tell him to leave me alone. I want to go to sleep. To which she replied, both of my grandpas are gone. Like, both of them are not here. To the point that it completely freaked me out. That's my earliest memory. However, my grandson is 5, and he has been seeing and hearing since 2. So I'm watching him go through the night terrors and stuff. So probably I have earlier memories that I do not remember. But 8 years old is my very first vivid memory. I see them, I hear them. I'm kind of intuitive. Yes, I can turn it on. Yes, I can turn it off. My grandmother also had this ability. So it's something that is generational in our family. None of my kids have it, but my grandson has it, who was born on Palm Sunday. So basically it's seeing and hearing, smell, sight. They don't look just like you guys do. When I see them, people always say, do they look just like us? I can still see what they look like and describe to someone, but they're not like looking at you. So I can definitely tell the distinguish. I mean, they're definitely different, if that makes sense. So 8 years old, and it plays over and over in my head. It's just like it happened. I can still see the brick house that I was staying at. I can still see the basement room that we were in. And you know, you're talking a long time ago. So it's a memory you never forget.
Was it something that caused you fear?
Oh gosh, yes. So and at that time, we did not know my grandma had this ability, because you didn't talk about it back in those days. You did not talk about it. You did not mention it. And it wasn't even until I was 12. So from 8 to 12, I lived in complete fear. This isn't right. You shouldn't do this. And my grandma waited until I was 12 to tell my mom, hey, she's not crazy. This is real. And I remember asking her, why did you wait so long to tell? And she said, because every kid can see and hear until a certain point. So basically those years are just years of trauma. Like, it just lives in you. People see you where you are now and think it would be cool and neat, but life was not that way. You know, at 60 maybe, but not growing up. Not at all.
And you said your grandson also has these gifts.
Yes, he does. And so at 2 is when we first started noticing. He's 5 now. Some of his examples are when you tell him, see you later, I'm going home. No matter who you are, he'll say, no, this isn't home, that's home. He'll be talking to my husband that he calls Papa Scott, or Papa, and my son-in-law's dad is on the other side, and he is Papa Scott. So he'll be talking to my husband, and he'll look up and he'll say, stop it, Papa Scott, I'm talking to Papa. Probably the biggest thing is, he come out in the kitchen and his dad wasn't answering his Papa, and he got really mad at his dad saying, why aren't you answering Papa Scott? He's talking to you. And so we're trying to maneuver, teaching him that you can see things that, so obviously his dad couldn't answer his dad because he couldn't see him. So yeah, he's at 5 and we're maneuvering that with the night terrors and the things he's saying. So, which leads me to believe my earliest memory obviously was before 8, but it's the one that's ingrained in my head. It's a lot.
Yeah.
What were some challenges that you faced growing up?
Challenges? The biggest challenge that I faced growing up was the fear of not letting anyone know what you do. I mean, it was my mom, you can't say anything, you can't say anything. She moved me from school to school. She would tell the teachers she's got an overactive imagination. So I think it was that whole being shunned. And, you know, I joke, you know, my husband and I have been together for 33 years, and I joke that I kind of came out of the closet 28 years ago, so he kind of didn't know what he married into, you know. So I would say it's never really knowing who I was until an adult, because you can't, it's like anything that you do if you don't live 100% you. So my biggest challenge was you have to keep a wall up, and not knowing what's real, not real, and not letting anyone know who you are because you just hid. It was a really big challenge.
Do they just come to you, or can you like call on them, I guess?
So most times I call on them. The people that normally only come to me are my people unless I'm open. So I can open, I can close. So I do readings, I do radio, like tomorrow I'm on radio where people call in and do, so I do a thing of opening. So both, when you're in a reading or I'm talking to you, I'm gonna call. Now sometimes I will be closed and I will hear my grandma or someone say open, and they don't ask you normally, and if they do, it's because someone around me needs something. So I will if I hear it in my head, but it's both. The answer is both. My people come to me, your people don't come to me unless I'm open or in a reading or doing radio or doing like a casino show. So like one of my casino shows, you're talking there's 400 people there, but technically there's like 1,600 people there for me, because you have people and then I have all of these people. So it's both. At my age, like my grandson has no ability to control it. At my age, it's like putting shoes on, really, like I open, I close, I open, I close. So it's both.
So like your ability to open and close, you said that your grandson doesn't have that ability. For you, did you have to kind of work on opening and closing throughout life, or was it something that just improved as you got older?
No, so this is my grandma 101 teaching Tammy how to do this, would take me to the grocery stores. And she would say, who's with that person? And I'd tell her, and she'd say, no, that's a person over there. So my grandma like literally taught me how to turn it on and how to tell the voices to go away. Then she would start making me go up to people and saying things. So here's a 14-year-old girl going up to people in stores saying, da, 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 you know. So my grandmother is a foundation of everything, and I'm hoping to be that for my grandson. He can't turn it on and off because he's so little and he doesn't understand it. So my grandmother basically, even though she never practiced it or used it, obviously she utilized and learned. So my biggest thing was my grandma. And since she's been gone, obviously the more I've opened, the more I've utilized it, the stronger you are, the more you believe in who you are, not hiding who you are. You're given more gifts, if that makes sense. So 20 years ago, would I ever thought I would do sold out casino shows? Never in a million years. Do I do them? Yes. So both. I think as you bless your gift blesses you. So more comes to you, the more you embrace. But my grandmother definitely saved my life. I always give her credit.
So when you have, 400 people of this life in front of you, and each of them comes with this group of, just based on what you said earlier, say that each person has 4 people who want to communicate something to their loved one who's before you, and so you really have 1,600 or 1,000, 2,000 people in front of you. How do you sort that out? What do you do? How do you prioritize if, even in this room there's 17 of us, but say there's really 50 souls in this room. How do you sort out what information you're going to decide is worth channeling? Is it something that you do or something else?
So they pretty much do that. So they're louder, like the ones that are needed are louder. Like they'll come forward, they're very needed. So they basically will be that one to sort it out for you. So everyone wants something, but not everyone is going to get it, obviously. So like a casino show, I can get in the center. Like the last casino show, for sure, there was this young man that coming to me and saying, I never found my shoe, and I walked away from a treatment facility. So you're hearing all this information, and so you just walk and tell when you get close to that person, you can tell the area that you're in, if that makes sense. So the other side pretty much dictates it. That is why we do random seating, because I don't want people set certain places, because then you feel like you're drawn certain places. So I would say the other side, kind of like in life, people who have more to say speak up. And those are the people that you have a tendency to acknowledge or talk. Most everything that I do, honestly, the other side determines it. If that makes a weird sense.
I was with a group of friends, more friends than I would have liked, actually, given the amount of time. Probably like, one of my friends set up a 2-hour session with a medium, and they ended up inviting like 10 other people. So I was kind of salty about that, because the more people, the less concentrated attention would be. And I remember just about everyone in the room had some kind of reading at that point, and I'm looking at the clock, and there's like 10 minutes left, and it's really like me and this one other woman, and we're just waiting to see if something comes through for us. And as soon as the medium who had joined us started talking, I knew like, oh, this isn't for me, and I was like really kind of salty and kind of annoyed. And then it ended up being that the woman's son, who was probably about your age, had died of an overdose, and she's trying to find her grandson. And I was like, okay, that's probably a better priority than whatever it was that was going to come through for me.
Yeah, the other side does prioritize things for you. So, you don't, like, obviously, it doesn't, like, everyone wants to be read, but people are happy for people who actually get read when you do shows like that. So the other side pretty much directs it for the most part.
How do your abilities affect your perception on death?
So I'm not afraid of death anymore. I would say that my abilities have seen all different levels, from being part of an actual exorcism on someone that was on Paranormal Witness. A TV show picked it up, but I've seen all different levels. I would say I have no fear of it, and I've been with people who transition, so I've seen the souls go. So for me, I have a weird sense of peace about death. Like, I want to be here to help my grandson, but I don't have any fear of this journey to the next journey. Does that answer what you're saying? I have this weird sense of peace where most people fear death. Growing up, before I came out and I understood, and I've helped so many people with their loved ones that comes through, that I know that the peace, and I know that, so I always say I'm looking forward to going home someday. So it's like a bright light for me. Does that make sense? And I think that's where I finally get all my answers, like, why me? Why my grandma? Why my grandson? I mean, out of everyone, why this? Why that? So I think I'm looking forward to that day to understand it all, because I'm never going to understand it here. I'm never going to have the full understanding of why me and why not you. Why me, why not you? Why you? Because you've got some things tapped into you. I mean, so I think I'm not going to understand it completely until I get home. But the anger is gone. I used to be an angry person. Why did this happen to me? My friends can do this. I can't do this. So I just think there's a new sense of peace. Is it because I'm older? Possibly, but I've lost so many people, and I've seen them in transition and where they are, that to me death is beautiful. I'm weird that way.
Even dragons, like color, like past animals, or like pets that have passed as well, or just humans?
Pets? So this sounds really funny, but I'm probably the most skeptic person you'll ever meet. But I do know I have had my own pets come through, so therefore I 1,000,000% believe in it. So we had a husky dog that we raised from 5 weeks to whatever, and every night he would turn 3 circles in the bed and lay down. Well, the husky's been gone 11 years, and we still randomly get that 3 turn on the bed. So I've had experiences. And our cat that passed away 2 years ago was 23 pounds. She was a little big. And when she wanted fed, she would hit her food dish and it would slide across our tile, and it still does that. Every once in a while, we'll be sitting out and the dish will slide across the floor. So because I've had experiences, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I won't speak on something I don't know. So I've had the experiences. Now, I also can tell you that pets are the most paranormal that there are. If you have pets, they see things. My cat did not like my mom. He always would have the look of terror. And I can tell when she's around because he'll be doing this. So they do see, like dogs will, if they lost their owner, they'll see them show up and they get excited just like it. So pets can also see, but yes, I have had examples myself of pets. So I can say without a doubt I've seen them.
So you said you can see like when people's like souls like leave.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it usually take, like after someone dies, for like their soul to like go?
So the experience that I have, the story that I'm talking about is in December of 2014, my father-in-law, my mom had cancer, so she was very sick for a lot of years. So I was down in Jackson for my mom, and my father-in-law got put in a hospital up here. And I came up here and I walked in and he was talking to my mother-in-law who was gone. She was in the chair and I'm like, oh, this is not good. He's not coming home. Well, he had slipped into a coma, and my sister-in-law was there. I was there. My two brother-in-laws. My husband didn't make it down. And I had fallen asleep, and my sister-in-law was supposed to be watching. Well, I felt a tap on my shoulder from the doorway. And I turned thinking maybe hospice was there. And there was no one there, so I went to look at my sister-in-law, and the room was like glowing, is the best way to describe it. My mother-in-law was there, my husband's grandparents were there, and then I watched my father-in-law's soul just like sit up and join them, and then they just all went. Like, it was like, so it was like instantaneous. Now there's journeys and there's other things that I've seen people in these levels, and since then I've been part of other people crossing, but it was always instant and they were never alone. I've been with a lot of people and they've passed since then. That was my first experience of actually being with someone when they transition. But it's been the same. No one has ever been alone in any of the passings since then that I've experienced. You had your hand up. Did you? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Okay.
Do you, I don't know how to phrase this, but like, do people or do spirits that were mediums, do they have like a stronger connection or like a stronger ability to reach out to you than other people or other spirits?
Good questions, but no, absolutely not. On this side, you would think so, but on the other side, when you go, we're all the same. The souls are just as powerful the other, but that is a great question. But I've never found it any more difficult, and I've also had no language barriers, which seems really weird to have no language barriers, because I did a reading for a lady a while back, and her family was from a different country, never came here with her. They never spoke any English, and her mom came through and said all kinds of things, which she validated, but then she's like, I would like to see my aunt. And I'm like, okay. So I asked her aunt to step forward. And her aunt, and I looked at her and I said, your aunt and your mom are twins. So she was like messing with me, so there's no language barriers, but I'm going to be no more stronger on the other side than another soul. So the difference is how strong is the medium on this side versus what they can reach. But on the other side, I really don't think it's going to make a difference, because our souls are souls there.
I know you already answered like how being a medium like affects your view of death, but are you like at all religious?
I am. Good question. So I was raised Southern Baptist. It was brought into me. It was very important to me. I definitely have a different belief than most people. Like, I know where I'm going. I know who my maker is. So I do. I'm very spiritual. I have that ingrained in me. Now, religion is part of the trauma that I suffered, because at 8 years old, being Southern Baptist, your mom tells the pastors you're seeing. So from Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, they would pray over me to bring whatever. So I definitely have a relationship and I'm spiritual, but as far as different things, I'm still scarred as a child of those things happening. Does that answer your question? Like, I'm very grounded in where I'm going and what I believe. I don't believe none of us have it right. I believe that understanding everything is very important because I think there's a little bit of truth in everything. So it's very important to who I am 100%. Believe it or not, I have pastors that are clients of mine. You know, you would think, I mean, the world is changing, the vision's changing as far as people.
Are you raising your hand?
When you talk to spirits, have they all transitioned, or are they still stuck longer?
Good question. So when I talk to spirits, the first thing people think instantly is they are trapped. That is not true. Like, they come to visit, they come and go. Now, is there a learning curve? Is there a transition curve? Absolutely. Both my niece and my dad lost their battle to mental health. So their transition on the other side and the journeys, they had things they needed to work through. So yes, it's both. Like, so, but it's not like there's still peace there, if that makes sense. Like, my niece still had the peace to do the work, but her journey is different than like my mom's journey and like that. So, but they're not like stuck. Now there's different things. We do paranormal exploring, so we go to different locations and there's people there that choose to be there. Sometimes they're stuck for certain reasons and sometimes they're not. Like, when we did one of the asylums we helped a mother realize it was okay to go because she had been there with her child and lost her child and was still looking for her child. So she had herself stuck there because she thought, and then we helped her that day. So a lot of times what you think is stuck is part of their journey and they're not actually stuck, from my experience.
With religion, like when you see like the souls go up, do they go in like a particular direction? Like,
Do I what?
like the souls, do you see them go in like a particular direction, like heaven or hell in a way?
Have I talked to people in the dark place? 100% I have. That was part of the exorcism and part of being at like Ohio State Reformatory. There's definitely people. Have I had someone from a not good place come through during readings? Absolutely. Have I been with someone who transitioned and went down? No, I've not seen an actual transition down, but do I know that there's those dimensions are real? I've seen souls that are different places. And just like people say near-death experiences, there's near-death experiences of people going the other way just as well as there is of those. So, but I have talked to people that are in not good places, been part of it, but I've not seen that transition, so I don't know what it looks like, and I don't speak on anything I don't know. I hope I never have to experience seeing that.
Are malicious souls more prone to reach out than...
No, they're really not. Like, you would think so. I think TV is good and TV's bad. TV's helped people like me be noticed and not be labeled as much, but they're also bad. Like, it's if the soul wants to speak out, they're gonna speak out. Like, some souls just watch and don't really come and have anything to say. They're more interested in watching and learning and guiding. But you mean if they're evil, are they gonna come back and hurt you? There's a protection thing around you, just so you know, if that makes sense.
Well, I had just wondered because you had previously mentioned the exorcism and stuff.
Yeah, so part of that was there's a place in Holly, Michigan, a Holly Antique Store. So there is a TV show called The Paranormal Witness, and they called it The Lady on the Stairs, if you want to watch it. It is, the only thing that was really real was a cat screaming, because they reenact everything, just so you know. But if you want the baseline of it, it's The Lady on the Stairs, and it was on the Paranormal Witness channel. The only part that is still actual footage of us was the cat screaming from the basement.
Is there evil in the world?
Yes. My grandma taught me that the other side mirrors this world, meaning, you know, we have good people, we have not good people, we know good and evil, and it's the same on the soul. So just like the lightness walk, darkness walks. Have I encountered souls that aren't good? Absolutely we have. We've encountered them in investigations. I've encountered them walking. But yeah, so just like in the real world, it's kind of like a mirror image of that. That's how my grandma taught me it.
Would you say that everyone have a connection to the spiritual world, like say through dreams? And if so, how do you know if it's not actual, it's like someone talking to you, or if you just want to talk to them?
Great question. So, when people tell me the dreams, the first thing I'm going to tell you is there is a difference between dream manipulation and dream visitations. Sometimes our brain wants to hear from someone so bad that we can manipulate these dreams and we can see things. Dream visitations always have a feeling. When you wake up, if it's like, oh my gosh, I felt so much peace, or I felt it was so real, or you just can't get it out of your mind. So when people will tell me their dreams, I always say, how did you feel? If they're like, huh? I'm just like, that wasn't. There's a feeling like sometimes when I dream of my niece, I know it's my brain because I get up and I'm still trying to analyze things. And when she comes in with a visit, and a lot of times, most dream visitations are not like full-blown conversations. It's just, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm safe, or you're good, or just letting you know that they're there. So there's a difference, but our brains will dream of people without it being a visitation, 100%. Has anyone had a day? Does anybody know what a day visitation is, or a daydream? Anybody ever experienced that? Where you're going about your day and you're not thinking of someone, and out of the blue this memory plays out of them like clear as day as a video clip. Those are daytime visitations. People always say, I want to have a dream. And I'm like, you're sleepless and you're awake. Do you know how many signs you're missing? Like, our brain doesn't think in video clips. So when you're going about your day and this memory plays out, those are visitations as well. So there's daytime visitations are more common than nighttime visitations. And you don't usually manipulate them because you're so busy doing your day-to-day activities that they just happen. So those are more common.
I wasn't asked, like, are you getting, like, anything that's coming, like, trying to come through from the other side, like, currently? That's, like, based off, like, the energy that's giving off here?
You mean, like, you want to ask a question for the other side is what you're asking? So I would say in this room right now, there's a grandma worried about a daughter that just had surgery. So, and I don't know if it's, like, cancer related or what. Like, whose mom is going through something hard right now? Did your mom just have surgery? Whose mom?
My friend's mom did,
Okay, and is she important to you?
sort of. My friend is, so I care about her,
And is her mom going through something kind of serious?
sort of.
And your friend just, you're trying to be that person for your friend?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna be okay. So like they're just letting you know because you're trying to help your friend. So sometimes it's just random different things, if that makes sense. And I think your friend is feeling guilty and not being and having hands on there, and they're just saying, tell her that she needs to keep doing her because that's what her mom would want her to do. Does that make sense in a weird way? I mean, you can ask questions, but kind of like they just go through, and I think that your friend is really struggling with which way to go, and you're that sounding board for her.
It's kind of tripping me out because I was just at the hospital yesterday.
Yeah, but you're the sounding board, and your friend is choosing between, do I stop doing what I'm doing to focus on my mom, or do I keep going with my life? And it needs to be going with her life. So you have to encourage because she's going to listen to you. Does that make sense?
What did you, like, you said you, like, saw, like, an exorcism? Like, what did you feel in that moment? Like, what were you going through? Like, what were you, like...
So part of it, I don't do like that. I was there, but that's not me. Like we had they had a demonologist, which is part of the Catholic. There was a Catholic priest there. So we were in the circle. Our job was to hold hands and not let go. Okay, so we protected him. Our job was, and the things that I remember is the pressure on my arms The cat screaming from the basement, like when this was all happening. I remember her body making noises that I'll never be able to get out of my head. And wondering when it was all over, where did it go? I mean, that was my first thought. Okay, so where did you send that thing? Where did it go? Like, that was my question for this priest, is where did it go? So we had went to investigate, and I knew it was above me. I don't get involved in things that is above me. And I'm like, you need to get a priest in here. You need to get things. These are things that I don't do. So I still can hear the cracking that it made. I remember the pressure of your arms, even though all you're doing is holding arms, and the cat screaming. And like I said, if you watch that clip, you'll hear those cats screaming. Those are the actual only real footage that you'll see. They reenacted everything else. They didn't do a good job, but they reenacted it.
There were actual cats that were screaming.
They were in the basement.
Okay.
So at the exact time that this thing released out of the body, the cats started screaming like from the basement, and you could hear it because they had put the cats downstairs. So at the same time that this priest released this, these cats were screaming from the basement. So even though they weren't there, they knew what was going on.
Would you say that some people are more spiritually protected, and if so, like how?
I didn't hear.
Would you say that some people are more spiritually protected, and if so, how?
I think more people are closed off, and I think everybody's protected, first of all. Everyone has people around them. I would say some people are closed off, which makes them more protected in a weird way. I think it's opposite, because if you're open and you're aware, you notice things happening. I think the people that are more closed off to it are more protected because they're not experiencing the things. I think the people that are open are more aware, they see signs, but it also, when you struggle, then you know you're not alone. So it has a benefit of being open. From what I've experienced, my friends that are closed off are more protected because they just go through life like this. Like they don't, people that are more open, they have, everybody has the same protection around you from the other side. So I look at it as the earth, as the world affecting us.
Do you actually think religious pieces protect you from spirits?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Whenever I go into things, it's always white light surround me. Whenever we do investigations or we do anything, I'm a big person on prayer before I go into this. 100%, I know it does. 100%.
So you know, like the old like wives' tale, it's like if you get like body shivers, someone stepping over your grave. What does that have to do with like, or if it has anything to do at all with like spirits?
So it does, but that is a tale. So I like to explain it like this because I watch my grandkids do it, and y'all are gonna understand this probably. So everybody knows what a static shock is, right? Like when you touch and you get it and it's that quick. Well, those little shivers that you get like that, where your body's not cold and you can just watch. I watch my grandkids do this all the time. It just simply means someone that's supposed to be with you from the other realm has either touched you or, I mean, they're in your presence. So that little thing, you can watch little kids. If you go someplace like a park and you watch these kids, you'll watch them shiver like that, and they're not cold. It is someone that's supposed to be with you. It doesn't mean it's someone else's angels, but it's how you know that you've been like there. That makes sense. So I think that you probably do get touched going over, but I don't, when I go to, so my dog, I've buried a child, she's on the other side, so we go to the cemetery, and it's my grandpa, my grandma, my daughter, my mom, my great-grandparents. When I go to the cemetery, I go there to honor the things, but the only reason why they're there is because I'm going there. Like, so when people are doing these things at cemeteries, they're going there because you're going there. So I think that's a tale because I can walk over a lot of them and I don't get the shivers. But I do watch and I do understand because I did it. My grandma used to always say, there you're going again, you just got an angel kiss. So now I watch my grandkids just sit there and do that. She taught me they were angel kisses. Anybody else?
You see, is where we go next, are there fewer limitations placed on us than we have in this life, or are they limitations of a different kind?
I would say that from what I know, from all the people that I've talked to over the last 60 some years, the limitations that are put on us are ourself. It's the free will. It's when we get there, those limitations are put on us by us. Here, sometimes we put limitations on ourselves, but the world also limits us. Over there, the limitations that I have seen has been the people themselves limiting them on where they want to go, what they want to do. It's righting our wrongs. If we don't do it here, we're going to do it there, watching our life play over.
Is there an element of, do some people simply have a harder time accepting either the nature of their death, or that they're dead, or the meaning of their life now that they're dead?
100%, and that's why it relies on you. And that's why I said the limitations come to you. So it is understanding, accepting, but you're given like the tools, like from what I've known or seen or been experienced from people, it like plays out like a video clip. When you pass, everything you've done right, everything you've done wrong. And my grandma always says, learn it here so you don't take it there. So the people, I've met people at all different levels, meaning some people come through and they haven't understood their death, or it was tragic, or they're waiting for someone to be caught. So there's a lot of different things, but it's still your soul that makes that journey on the other side. Where here, other people can affect us. There, it's based on your soul.
Does anyone ever not know that they're dead?
I've never came in with someone. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I never came across a spirit that did not know they were gone.
Anyone have questions before I can just keep asking questions.
Have you ever met another medium, and if y'all work together on like a reading, does that make it more powerful? Or?
No. I have not met anyone like me. I've been to other ones, but I've not met anyone that, number one, when people set up, I do it on the radio. I don't even have a clue who's calling in. When most people set up, they want like your name. I mean, they want so much information. My website is not set up for that. I don't work with other people, number one, because I am so strong in me. I'm very humbled, and I live a certain life, and my grandma taught me, you depend on you, you don't depend on other people. Plus, you don't know if the person you're working with is gonna take your energy or manipulate your energy, and then are your thoughts gonna be their thoughts or your thoughts? So I'm very closed off. I don't do psychic fear. I don't do any of that stuff. My grandma taught me between God, reverence, religion, and using yourself to be very closed off. So I've never done an event with other mediums. Now I've done paranormal conventions where other people are there, but they're doing their own thing and I'm doing my own thing. I don't think it makes me any more powerful. I think it would detour me more than anything, because they're going to get one line of thing and I need to be very focused on what I'm doing. Does that make sense?
Do you think that either for yourself or what ought to be, are there certain ethical boundaries either for psychic mediumship generally speaking, or for an individual session, or for what someone might ask of you?
So that is why I said my grandma taught me this. Number one, I never read my friends. If you're in my circle, I'm not open. I've never read my husband. I've threatened my kids, you better tell me what's going on or I'm gonna know. My grandma said those are just boundary lines that you don't cross, okay? I stay closed off, like I don't go around reading people. So I think that there should be a privacy, like it's a respect thing. So for me, I'm very respectful. Is everyone that way? I can't tell you. The only time that I can't shut off is like if I'm on vacation drinking, because it affects your ability to be whatever. So on vacation, I just go up to people and tell them things like crazy and walk away, and then my friends are left to tell them, oh, well, this is her. I am very respectful. I stay close. unless like I hear open. And then if I do, I will go up and say, hey, you know, this is what I'm getting for you. And most times they'll hug you or start crying. But I think that I don't cross those lines. I can't speak for anyone else. I'm very boundaries. I mean, it's a gift. I mean, it didn't always feel that way, but it is a gift and a blessing. And I think a lot of times when you see these big people or people that get out there that lose their way, I think they lose their gift. Like my grandma taught me, this is part of your soul. So if it's taken away from you, who are you? So part of it is making sure I don't ever cross a line with that.
Has anyone in a session ever asked you a question that you don't feel comfortable looking into, or have you ever received something from the spirit world that you don't feel comfortable conveying?
So I always tell everybody, I don't sugarcoat anything, I don't change anything. If they say it, it's going to come out of my mouth. One time, a lady was there, and I used to have a glass circle on top of my table. I used to have a candle on my table. And her mother come from the not nice place that y'all talked about, and she had been abused as a child, and she just wanted her mom to say she was sorry. And the mom had it was just a horrible growth. And I could just tell how fragile she was. And the mom's like, well, the mom wasn't sorry and was saying not nice things. And I said, well, your mom knows what she did was wrong. And her mom kept saying, that's not what I said, that's not what I said. Well, my jar candle blew up and shattered the whole glass circle. I folded up the tablecloth and I said, oh, don't worry. And we kept on. But I knew at that moment and she needed to hear something, and I didn't lie because the mom knew it was wrong. So that was not a lie. But it wasn't what the mother wanted me not to. So if it's going to damage someone, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to hear it, but I'm not going to destroy someone like that. Most times it's healing, but you got to understand that mom was in a not good place, so it was not healing.
For people who want to go to mediums and get readings, how do you know when a medium is genuine or when you're
Oh, you'll know. Like everything that they say, they're going to give you details. Like when people come in, you feel it. And what I'm telling you, you'll be hearing it in your head at the same time. I always tell people, a lot of what I'm going to be telling you, you're going to be hearing it at the same time because they're your people. Like the details that we give are not things that you can Google or know. I mean, one of the ladies comment on my website, she knew more than the FBI could have ever found out about me. So you will know without a doubt. You won't reach. Everything will make sense. I mean, you'll feel it with everything in your soul. Trust your soul. Like they shouldn't be asking you questions. Part of coming in and sitting in with a reading with me is you sit down, you're there. So you would know, like you would know everything is, you feel it, like there's a truth there.
Speaking of the FBI, are you ever asked to help solve crimes?
Yes, but by the families. So my first missing person case that I did was, God, I think 11 years ago, and I'm still really good friends with the family. They found me from radio, and the sister lived up close by the radio, and the other sister lived down in Grand Ledge. I had never been to Grand Ledge, never been there. And I agreed to work this case with them. And so I met the family in Grand Ledge. I had them just send me a picture of the guy, nothing else. I don't want to know anything, sent me the picture. The first time I showed up to them, I had drawn land that I had never seen, right to the pond where they knew where it was. And I said, I feel like it's a pond, but not a pond. And I even said like ice. I said I couldn't tell if he had, I said, first of all, that there's a note in the car, and they're like, no, there's not. I said, you missed it, go look. So they did find something in there that just talked about his retirement. And I said when he would be found by two people walking a dog. I couldn't tell if he drowned or shot himself. And I said, but he took things from the house. So then we go to the police station, right? Well, my brother's a retired police officer, and he understands me, but they don't take it real receptive. And the detective was like, I've been doing this for whatever years. No one is going to die by drowning, and no one's going to use a shotgun. Well, they did find him 3 days off from when I said they would, 20 feet from where I told him. He had a backpack from home that he filled with weights like that he used. He went under the water and shot himself with a shotgun. So that is why I could not tell if it was, so he did both because he wanted to make sure that he wasn't. And another one was right up the road from us. A couple come up missing, and the mom and the grandma came to see me, and it was like I had to tell her, your daughter's gone. And she's like, but she was doing, I said, no, you guys had a fight before she left. This is what you fought about. I said, you're going to find him after hunting season. It's on state land. I said, you guys are looking too far away from the car. One's walking back towards the road and one is walking away. And it was like the 1st of December they found him. Like exactly.
Was it both of them?
Yep. And the daughter was walking back towards the road and the boyfriend was walking out of the road. So yeah, I have worked them. They're a lot of work because I can't do any other work. When I'm working a missing person case, I do no readings. That's all I can focus on.
Oh, why is that?
Because if I'm doing readings, then my intention is, a lot of times it's phone calls and it's different things, and you really got to connect. Okay, so I can usually tell instantly. The other one I did was I ended up out in Missouri, and he had walked into the state land, and he was from this area, and is it the Mark Twain Forest out there or something, I think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went there. He was an old retired teacher, and he went to this forest, and they said they had searched it, that he just abandoned his car, and I said, no, it's there. So I took down his shoe because his shoe sole, and they ended up finding him in the forest. I'm still really good friends with that wife too. But that is the only cases I've worked because it is so, and I never charge for missing person cases, but it is so time consuming and so exhausting.
How do you recoup after those kind of cases to get you back to like your profession or like taking readings again?
Usually a good, like when I do a case or even like a casino show, I take a whole week off. And it's like nature, the same things as you guys, water, rocks, rest, those kind of things. I just watch shows that don't have any, that my brain can't function. It's just resting my body and my soul, like not going to that other side. Just like when you guys are exhausted from whatever, it's the same thing, but I always give myself at least a week. So when I do a casino show, I won't work the week before and I won't work the week after, just because I need my soul rested to go into that and rested coming out of it.
Why do you think that it is that you are able to see spirits?
Honestly, I don't know. That's why I said I won't know till I get home. Growing up, there was a lot of anger, and I still question now. So I honestly don't know why my grandma, why, and where else did it hit. If my grandma had it and I have it, you can guarantee someone else in our family had it. It's just they didn't talk about it back then. So I don't know, and that's what I said. That's the one thing about getting to the other, when I pass, that's the one thing that I really will finally get the answer, because that's something I don't know. I don't know.
Like, can you see things when you're asleep, or do you shut it off?
So sometimes I get woken up in my sleep, but for the most part, before I go to bed, I'll be like, please don't. The thing that gets me up the most, honestly, my father-in-law has a tendency to want to sit on the end of our bed, and I don't know why. And if you don't acknowledge it, he'll get up, sit down. Get up, sit down. I mean, he'll do it until you technically, look, to the point that sometimes my husband, who sleeps through anything, will be like, who's down there? And I'll be like, are you kidding me? So, but for the most part, they do leave me alone. They really do. When I'm working a missing person case, that's an exception, because I won't go to bed closed, because a lot of times they'll say, send me a sign. So if I want to be open and embrace it, they'll send me something. But for the most part, I'll be like, I'm just tired, leave me alone. I have weird dreams all the time. They have nothing to do with the other side. My brain just dreams. So.
Would you say that your ability has affected your ability to read history? Like, have you ever talked to a spirit that was indigenous from this land?
Yes, I absolutely have. And matter of fact, one of my clients has been with us the longest, and like she makes me dream catchers, and she's taught me so much about smudging and different things, and I've been part of the 24-hour when they pass the 24 hours of the flames and that going. So 100%. And I will say that theirs is always like so much peace, where a lot of times when people leave, it's heavy. Whenever I've ever done anything with Native American, the peace that I feel in my soul, because they never carry anything, like they deal with it and let it go. So those are ones that is just, I love being able to do that. And as a matter of fact, the one thing I told her is I want to experience one of their sweat lodges that they do, but I've been part of their fires. And I don't have many clients like that, but I love when they come through, because just their spirit is so different. And they never ask why or how or anything like that. They're always about, this is the wisdom, choose yourself. I mean, so what their messages are so different than like my mom's messages to me. I wish I wouldn't have done this. They don't talk about past things they wish they wouldn't have done. It's always about moving the soul forward. So they don't carry the same regrets that our soul does for whatever reason. I think that they just work through everything.
It's really interesting, the idea that sort of our cultural sensibilities and our way of proceeding in the world shapes who we are even in the afterlife.
Yes, they're the most peaceful people to be around, honestly. Like when they come through, they don't have the regrets, because they always do the best that they can do. Their integrity is different. Their beliefs are different.
Do you, when a spirit comes through to you, do you have a sense of those details about their life outside of asking for more information? Do you have a sense if they were Asian or black or gay?
Oh, I can see them.
Or...
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, 100%. I'll see them. So yeah, and a lot of times, the soul doesn't. When you look at them, you see it, but the soul doesn't reflect it. Because when you get where you're going, your soul, that's why I said Native American is pretty much the only soul to me that resonates any different. Because the other culture will still have the high pressure, that I should have done different, I could have done different. So they still are, even though you look different, you still have the same souls, the same whatever. The Native American soul is the only soul I found that doesn't seem to want to hold on to regrets or feel the need to apologize for. Like they feel like they did the best they could at all times. If that makes a weird sense.
Can you walk us through your process? Like, say you have an appointment with someone, could be someone that you've worked with before or someone totally new. They're coming to meet you at 1 p.m. tomorrow. What is your process starting, even the day before? Do you prep
I don't
at all?
prep. That's why when we did this class, I said, dude, don't give me anything. Don't tell me anything. Let's just roll with it. So when a client is coming, if my first client is at 11 o'clock in the morning, at 10:45 in the morning, I'm sitting in my room with my diffusers going. I'm doing my prayers. I'm talking to my grandma. I'm thanking them for bringing whoever needs to come through. And I'm asking for protection and peace. And then they walk in and it's there. And then when they leave, it's kind of the same thing. I go back into my room. I do my lavender oil. I always do it in a form of a cross. I don't know why. It's just how I've always done it. And I ask for my brain for calmness and clarity. And then I release whatever's there. It used to be more like, oh, I'm so worried. Or when I would get on radio, I'd be so nervous. But everything is not me. Nothing I do is me. So everything is relying on the other side. So I may think, okay, today's going to go like this. And then they're going to show up and it's going to be nothing like what you think anyway. So there's really no prep other than resting and thanking them and asking for protection, because you don't know what souls are coming. And I always thank them in advance for not letting anything attach to me and making sure when they go, I always make sure and release whatever and thank them and tell them you need to go with your people.
When a soul comes through to you and wants you to communicate something to someone on this side, do they speak in full sentences? Do they use a system of signs and symbols that you have developed that mean certain things? Is it Pictionary?
So, a little bit of everything. The one thing that's always the same is this. When someone is there for their own reason or they've taken their own life, whether it be accidental or on purpose, if they're responsible for their passing, always get the hands. So always see the hands. They'll always come first through with their hands and show me responsibility. Normally, like, they'll show different things, but complete senses, no, we don't sit down, and they go from here to here to here to here. Their energy is so different. People will be in a reading for like 90 minutes and they'll be like, we're done already, and they'll think it's been like 15 because the time just sits still. So we may be on this topic and they're going to go to this topic, but they vibrate different than we do. So, you know, it's way different. Did that answer you?
Mm-hmm.
What other like symbols do they do if they do this? Like to clarify.
So the hands, a lot of the symbols are like their death. Like if they want to say, and they'll grab like this and I'll say, oh, the heart, and they'll be like, and then this is a lot of time for like a brain aneurysms. I've gotten these before. A lot of times if they were in an accident, like I will feel pain through my whole body. So a lot of it is the symbolism of how they died, if that makes a little bit of sense. And sometimes I'll be like this and they'll be like, yeah, they had stomach cancer. You know, I'll be like, I'm feeling a burning sensation here. So most of the other symbols that they show me are how they passed or different things like that. Sometimes they'll point like here and I'll say, what do you got on your back? And they will have had a tattoo or something. So sometimes they'll point to different things. Those are usually the symbolisms, is showing how they passed, or if someone has something, they'll kind of let me know.
Is there like anything that's like giving you off energy currently? Like,
What do you want to ask?
I don't know. It's like, cause I'm like, I feel like there's like honestly, because I've been like I feel like my heart's very heavy, and I feel like it's like I feel it like throughout the room.
Okay, so what happens is when you're in a reading and I'm doing what I'm doing, when I say none of it is me, it's all from the other side, right? All the answers that I'm giving you guys today, even though they're my life, my grandma's here with me today helping me, okay? So when you open that veil, it feels different. Kind of like when people walk into a haunted place, they feel that heaviness. Oh, that's because the veil is shifted. It's different. When you have someone like me in here doing any of this, there should be a heaviness. And it should go from heavy to almost like you get a really cold chill. Like it will go from the cold. Whenever you're doing any kind of manipulation of energy, you should always feel that. Like we'll go through some places where we won't feel anything, and then we'll walk into a room and it's like, oh, that's because you know there's been a presence. We have so many presents, and with me being open and sharing my experiences, you're gonna feel that heavy. That just also means that you feel other people's pain. You feel when other people are gonna have things happen. Some people might not be feeling that heaviness. That's why I said she definitely does. If you're feeling that, when I said some people who don't have the blockers up don't feel anything, people like you feel things. What you're actually experiencing, you should be feeling when you walk into a room where there's a present. Oh, you know, it's that heaviness. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but there's a different veil. And that's why I will only work so many days a week, and that's why sometimes like I sit and I'm leaning forward, because that pressure feels like they push down. Does that make sense? So what you're feeling is actually energy floating through the rooms, because every one of your questions is taking energy to answer. It's not just me talking with you. Whenever I utilize the other side or I speak, I use my gift. And so that manipulates energy. But if you have a question, I'm game. I mean, but what you're feeling is the energy, and you should have felt go from pressure to cold. And the cold is when energy starts swirling. Does that make sense? And carry that with you when you go into places. Now, if you walk in somewhere and every hair on your arm stands up, chances are something in there is not good. The heaviness doesn't necessarily mean evil. People think when they walk in, oh, this is so heavy, it's dark. No, it's just a difference in the energy. It's not the normal realm you walk in.
I'm curious about maybe the difference between, you know, you have readings that you do where you sit down and they're with individuals, or hopefully, you know, maybe a small group of people, or that versus when you're doing something like paranormal exploring, where it seems like you are, or maybe the process is different, but you're trying to get to the bottom of something. You have questions about how someone died or what happened to them, or why a particular space has the happiness you're describing. But it seems like I could be mistaken, but it seems like you're not getting the clarity and response that you're necessarily getting when someone comes to you and they have questions.
So a lot of times those facilities and places we go are so ginormous that sometimes I actually shut my gift off, and I will say when we're doing to Josh, okay, this is just me being
Josh is my husband, by the way.
Okay, he's my paranormal buddy. This is just me being an investigator. And normally I go there and I'm reading the house, I'm reading, or wherever we're going, reading the land, reading all these different things. So I have everything that I'm trying to figure out. Plus, your husband likes to play a little game with me called Let's Not Tell Tammy Where We're Going, and let's bring her to Ohio and drive to Michigan for an investigation. So he brought me to a battlefield, and I had no clue where I was. We came in the back way, so there's no signs, but I nailed it. So part of it is figuring out the land, and like when we went to the village, there's 30 different villages from 30 different eras, so it is so much stuff, and you're trying to figure out, does this belong here, does this belong here? So part of it is when they're sitting down, it's just one thing. It's their family, it's that. When you go there, you've got the people that own it now, you've got the buildings, you've got whoever's left there, you've got different histories. So it's a totally different thing. Plus, ghost hunting's fun. Like, I get to not be open. You can't be open for 8 hours. You just can't do it. And we investigate 8 hours at a time. So a lot of it is just me being able to ghost hunt and shut that ability off and have the fun of seeing them respond through equipment, and me not have to be that equipment and know, see, you've seen that too. So it's both, because you can't stay open that whole time. So the beginning is definitely the open, where I go and I'll start saying things about it. Some things he didn't even know, and he's like, no, you're wrong. And then we do the tour and find out, no, I'm right, he was wrong. So part of it is, all of it is a whole different dynamics. We're trying to understand the building, the people, what happened there. And if it's been a war battlefield, a lot of things has happened besides the battle at that land. So it's a totally different dynamic. Plus, I never stay open for 8 hours. My casino shows are always 90 minutes, never longer. Well, you don't get out of there for like 3 hours because everyone wants to talk to you, but you just can't stay open that long. It's not good for your health. It's not good. I just couldn't do it. There's just no way.
I don't remember if you did or didn't say, but did you say you were open or if you were closed currently?
I can open and close, but when she was doing that, then the mother thing came out over there because of your friend. But I'm connected to my grandmother currently. So that's different than being open. Open means I'm open to your people. If you can understand that. You guys all have your people with you. You all have that gut. You've heard your gut, your guide. You all have someone with you all the time that you're always hearing, you're always talking to. Mine is my grandma. Now when my mom comes in, I usually tell her, okay, you can go now. But so being open simply means I'm reading other people, but my loved ones are always talking, always there. Does that make sense? Who else feels like she did? Who else gets a heaviness when you walk into a room, when you know? Yeah, those are just normal things. And also, here's another thing to understand. If you get ringing in your ears all the time and there's nothing wrong with you, chances are they're trying to show you something or warn you of something, like a friend or a decision or something. The ringing of the ears, to me, when I get it, usually tells me, hey, I'm trying to talk to you, you're not listening. So pay attention to those. If you're feeling things, that means you're open to signs, you're open to hearing things.
Would you say that spiritual penances work? For example, in my culture, they take an egg and they rub it all over their body to see if the cross.
Yes, I just did the egg method, 100%. The cross, and then you do it and you leave it, and then yes. 100%. I use sage, I use crystals, I use smudging, I use all of that. Like I said, I was trained by my native friend. 100% I believe we cleanse our energy. I just got turned on to the egg thing from my Native American friend, so I just did those with the farm fresh egg. Craziest, creepiest thing I've ever done, but did I feel relief afterwards? You bet I did. I think that different souls react differently. What might work for your soul might not work for her soul. If you find peace in it, I'm constantly smudging my house. I'm constantly using diffusers. I'm constantly using the things to try to neutralize the energy. I also use only white light surrounds me, like when I'm going into places, when loved ones come in, I'm always asking that nothing gets attached. But yes, that is a new one that I just discovered. It's crazy. Have you done it?
No, I've always wanted to. My mom always talks about it.
It is crazy. You should try it. As part of this, do it and then write a paper on it. It's really cool.
How would you detach something from yourself?
How would I what?
How would you detach something from yourself? Because you keep talking about
So I try not to get any attachments. I don't think that I've had one because I've been close. Like my grandma will stop me and say stop. Like we were doing an investigation once where I actually came really close to something that we thought was good because evil can present itself as good. I got partway up the stairs and my grandma said stop. And then instantly, I stopped and the cameras, everything went dead behind us. The flashlight started going crazy. So I have a different protection. I'm always going in with a prayer. Only white light surrounds me. I think that you can use crystals. You can use sage. There's a lot of rituals out there. I always have a tendency to lean towards my Native American friends and clients when I want to do anything like that because I believe they do such natural things. That's usually where I go to. I'm blessed to have that resource. And when she told me to egg, I'm like, you're just crazy. You're just messing with me now. And she's like, no, do it and send me the picture and I'll tell you what it means. And I'm just like, yeah. But I try not to. For the most part, whenever I do anything like that, I usually have my grandma letting me know.
Is there something to astrology?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know anything about it. That's one thing my grandma said, don't cross your gifts. You have a gift that's way different than that. But have I ever read my horoscope and it matched? Yep. But what might match for me, you're going to take a different part out of it. I know people believe in and go by that. I'm not speaking either way on it because I don't know anything about it. I know people that do it believe in it just as much as I believe in what I do.
I think you answered this earlier, but have you ever gone to see a psychic medium as a client?
Yeah.
What was that like?
So, a joke. My friend wanted me to go and she kept bugging me, just go, there's this. So I went in and this lady was trying to get information from me and she's just like, oh, and I know they look for facial features. She's like, boy, your mom really loves you. Well, if you know me, we know that's not true, okay? And I just had this smile on my face, and she really misses. She's going into all these things, and she said, do you have any questions? I said, yeah, why do I always struggle financially? And she said, if you got to learn not to be so selfish. Well, if you know me, which you know me, selfish is the last thing I am. I would give away the last thing. And I'm like, okay, and then that will help. Oh, yeah. And I asked her if there was any messages that my mom wanted to give me. And she said, your mom just wants to tell you how much she loves you and all this and that. And I said, okay, well, when we leave, I'll go call her and tell her that she really does love me. So my experience has not been good. I have not found anyone like me. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I also don't go looking. After that, I just don't go listen. I went, and she's sitting in there just dying, because she knows, number one, I would live homeless before I let someone out. I mean, selfish is the least thing that I am, and so I just don't go looking. I don't. I know people who come to me who has another one that they go to in Florida that the things they tell me, I know that person's legit because they'll say the same things. So now maybe when I'm in Florida, I might look this person up, but other people like me exist. I've just not met them.
Do you ever, like, when you're talking to, like, different people, do you ever see, like, a glowing hue around them, like, whether it be, like, a white or yellow light, like, around them?
You mean people on this side, like auras?
Not, like, no, when you're, like, directly talking to somebody and you made, like, eye contact with them, you're, like, talking to them, like, do you ever, like, see a light radiating?
Between people who are living or people on the other side?
People that are living, because ever since I was little, I was like, even talking to all of you, I see exactly the same hue. Like every time when I talk to anyone, I see like different type of hues. Sometimes it's there to some people, sometimes it's not.
Okay, I would say that's more for you, to give you like the idea of what's good for you and what's not good for you. So the light should be your example. Do you understand that? Now, I did my last casino show that I did, a lady won this random item and she came down front to get it, and she was standing there and like the most massive beautiful light was surrounding her to the point that I just like had to stop my show. And I'm like, I was trying to figure out how to say, she had 1 foot here and 1 foot in heaven basically, and I'm like, okay, you're not supposed to be here. Like, you're not doing good, right? And so I'm talking to her brothers and I'm telling her about her brothers, and because I had to open up and give her reading. Well, she was living 3 months past the date that they said she would already be gone. She has since passed. But she came that day and her daughter, it was just a paranormal show. We weren't doing any readings, and her daughter was adamant she was getting a reading. Everyone sits randomly. People put stuff under seats to win things. I had nothing to do with it. This is how the universe works. She wanted to go twice and her daughter wouldn't let her because she was adamant she was getting a reading, even though this show was no reading. She won a water bottle. She wanted her daughter to go get it. Her daughter said, nope, you go get it. And it's on TT. There's like, I don't know, 151,000 views to this video of, you can see me reading this woman and her brother, and they were talking about her digging up graves and all these things just came through, and she was worried about the afterlife, and her brothers came through and gave her specific signs, and her family, like her daughter recorded this, and in my shows there's no recording, but somehow I didn't see her, which is okay because the whole family needed to see it. But yeah, so I see a light differently than you do. I think that's more of a protection for you. It's like, this is okay, this light feels warm and this is good, this is okay. I would use that more of a gauge for you. Does that make sense? What is good, what is not good? Because if the energy is distorted and you're having a very high anxiety day and the energy's moving like this, step back a little bit. It's more of a gauge for you than anything else. More of your people protecting you.
Makes sense, because I suffer from a lot of anxiety. Like, I'm anxious like right now because I don't even know why. Sometimes I have my ability to like turn off my anxiety, but sometimes it just randomly clicks somehow.
Right. So those lights you see are more for you. If they're calming, they mean they're good for you. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means their energy at the time. So maybe one day her energy, I'm just going to use you an example. Maybe one day her energy's calm and good. Maybe the next day she's having an off day and her energy's like this. So you have to step back because your body pulls what you're around. So those lights you're seeing are more for you than what I would experience. I can look at someone, if they have 1 foot here and 1 foot on the other side, it is a totally different feeling. I had a client that came with her daughter and she sat down and I'm like, you already had your funeral? And she's like, yeah, we did. I didn't want my funeral when I was gone. I wanted it when I was here. So I could tell she was in, and she since has passed as well. So I see it different, but usually when there's a transition in place. Yours is a protection for you. If you can get to read what looks like a calm light, means that their energy, it doesn't mean they're a bad person, it just means their energy is okay for you that time. If it looks like this, it means they're having an off energy day, and if you're worrying about your energy, probably not get so close. Does that help you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know I have several more questions, but anyone have a question?
When you do readings, besides speaking to a level that has passed, how do you actually read the person, and how does that work?
So I don't read anything. I listen to the loved ones. So their loved ones are going to tell me past, present, future. They're going to tell me things that happened to them in the past things that are going on for them right now, things that are happening with their children or with themselves or with whatever. So my job is simply to repeat what I hear. That's why I say there's really no pressure or no preparing for me for a reading, because I never know. So I don't. They know everything. And then I always tell a client, let them go first, because they're going to answer 90% of your questions in a reading anyways. And then they come with questions, and then when the other side's done, they'll look at their question. Oh, that was answered. So they're allowed to ask anything that they want, but the other side will say what's important, what's going on, what you're struggling with, what they're proud of. So they do all of that. I simply repeat. I always tell people I don't retain it, so make sure you ask what you want to, because I'm not going to remember this conversation.
What language?
Mine. So I guess I don't know this to be fact, but I'm thinking if I only spoke French, I would only hear in French. Because like I said, I've had spirits come through that their family was sure there was no way, even though everything I gave them was legit, they were sure there was no way I could understand what they're saying. So they speak in the language that I do. So my guess is any other medium would hear in their language, no matter what language that spirit spoke.
Do you ever start receiving information before you meet someone? Like if you have a client coming at 11, do you start experiencing things at 9?
No, sometimes like I will get, maybe if they're real anxious or anxiety, like I'll start feeling anxious for no reason, and then it's because they're really worried, and the minute they walk in the door, it'll be like, oh, I get it now. And I'll tell them, don't worry, my head's not going to spin around, nothing green's coming out, and I'll get them laughing, and then their energy. Because more of it is the people are more nervous than me. Mm-hmm. And so normally no, because they're your people, they show up with you. I know some people say they meditate and bring their people in. Well, first of all, I want you to bring your people. I don't want your people showing up. And when you go, I want you taking your people with you.
I recently spoke to, I think it was just a friend of a friend, somebody who's a hospice chaplain, and they said that it's amazing how many people die at the same time. Do you think there's a reason? Is there a reason for that? Is it just the rhythm of a hospital?
I think it's a rhythm of that hospital. I think different facilities are different. The thing that I love about hospice, I say if I ever retire here, I'm going to be a volunteer at hospice. The thing that I love about that is the watching them transition, the reaching and the things like that. I think the thing that's most common with clients that come to me is always the same thing. I just stepped out of the room. I just went to the bathroom. I just fell asleep. They just passed. I think our loved ones wait until you've stepped away for that transition. Kind of like my sister-in-law had fallen asleep, and they said everyone has to be awake, and someone woke me up. I don't know, as I've never experienced a specific time, but I think everything goes in a loop. So I would think if they work in the same facility and that's their hours, that would be the time that they see them pass. It would be interesting to see if a different hospice worker in the same place has the same time frame.
I have a question about fate.
Okay.
And time and providence.
Okay.
Some of the things that you receive are about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that the future is predetermined in some way?
So when I say they talk about the future, they don't say this is going to happen and this is going to happen. They're going to say this is what you need to do to get to this point because this is what you want. So if you don't do these things, so I don't sit there and predict your future that you're going to have 3 kids, you're going to have a car, because you can decide you're not going to. So when I say future, they're saying, okay, this is where you need to be, this is what you have to do to get to this point. So when we talk about the future, I don't predict your future. I'm just saying, they're saying this needs to happen to get to here. This is where you want to go, but this, and this needs to happen. It's still free will, and some of it lies on you. So if I tell you this is what you're going to have and you just sit back and do nothing, you ain't going to get it. So when we talk about future things, it's about different things, like maybe a health struggle that's coming or something like that is coming. But mostly it's you need to work on this so you can get to this point.
Do the things people receive, are they sometimes incorrect? You know, like if a loved one comes through and says they should have more children.
They don't really do that. They don't put the pressure on that. That's never been part of mine. The closest I came is one lady came to me and I said, "Oh, congratulations, you're pregnant." And she's like, "We haven't even told my family yet." They don't usually put pressures on them telling what they need to do, that you need to have more kids, you need to have do that, because that's an earthly perspective. Up there, their job is to make sure our souls are happy. So they're not going to put something, if I don't want kids, they're not going to be sitting up there, "You need to have kids." That's something that we do to ourselves here. I've never had that come through. I've never told someone something that they need to do that was so against what they wanted. And I've done so many readings. I can't even begin to count. But they don't usually do that. I mean, I've had a mom come through that said, "One of my biggest regrets is that you never had children and I never got to be a grandma." But that's one thing.
So you say like spirits attached to people and like it's family members typically, right? So
They're
how-
with you, they don't attach. So there's a
Okay,
difference.
yeah.
They're with you.
They're with you. So
Right.
like, could you say that they're with multiple like,
100%.
people in your family at the same
100%.
time?
100%. And like, so when my grandma passed, myself, my sister, and my aunt all had the same dream at the same time from my grandma. We knew. So all three of us knew at the same time. So my grandma came to all three of us at the same time and had those. So 100%, I always tell people, just because my grandma's with me doesn't mean that she's not with my daughter or my son or my whatever. I'm going to be with all my kids and my grandkids. I ain't going to pick. I'm going to be with all of them.
Have you seen anyone's intuition increase? Like, for example, like some people's intuitions increase after they've given birth to children. That's what we see.
Yes. Yes, because you're creating new life. So intuition can increase through birth, near-death experiences. Like if you are in a really dark place and you get back to that light place, a lot of that fighting is the other side helping you get back to that place. So all of the things that create new life through that generation can 100% spike the intuition. Intuition, I believe, can be developed. Mediumship can't. Like, I mean, you're either, to me, my grandma taught me, you're either born with the ability to see the other side or you have a near-death experiences. Intuition, you can learn to build your own intuition. You can learn these things, these signs, the feeling. Those are your intuition. Every one of us has people with us, so everyone has a form of intuition. So yes, you can build your intuition. Do I think I can teach you to talk to his family or her family? No, I don't believe that. I believe, like, for whatever reason it's thrown on people, or people who have had that near-death experience come back and have that ability.
What do you do? How does skepticism of your gift impact you? How does it make you feel, or what do you do with that? Do you feel a need to respond to it?
Nope, it doesn't impact me at all. Some of my best clients came as skeptics, you know, to the point that they gave me the wrong name and the wrong information, thinking when they sat down I was going to give them the wrong information. Sometimes when wives comes, husbands come to try to prove to her it's wrong. It doesn't have a bearing on me because I'm not reading them, I'm listening to their people. So I don't try to prove or disprove. I always say that's not my job. My job is to relay the message. And part of it, not taking any credit when people's like, "Oh my God, you're so good," or whatever. I'm like, it's not me, it's them. So part of not taking that credit is relying on them. So honestly, that's why your faith, your religion, that doesn't have a bearing because I'm reading something different. It is fun to mess with when you know, because the one husband sat down, "Just so you know, I don't believe in this." I said, "Really? Because," and then I just let it go. Most times when they're skeptic and they come to me, they're thinking of everything they don't want me to know. So guess what's the first thing that comes through? Everything they don't want me to know. Because their loved one's like, "All right, let's go." I don't spend my time with it.
There's a lot of mean people out there.
There is, but I guess because in my community, and I'm very lucky because in my area where I lived, I spent the last 25 years. I was on local TV for 12 years, radio for 6 years, still on radio. So I've spent so much time in that area. So my community, I don't get that from. It's outside things where you get it. I'm very accepted, very protected, very whatever in my community.
I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you think women are more open to the readings than men.
No, I have probably just as many male clients as female clients. In the past, probably, but in my experience, but then again, my name is known, so more men come to me. So I think women are more likely to go to psychic fairs, go to the big shows, go to do those things. But in my day, I would say I'm probably 60-40, maybe 60 women, 40% men. Radio calls have just as many men calling in as women. I think as the world is changing, the people change and they're more open to it. So not in mine, but again, like I said, I'm not just starting out. I can't imagine just starting out. I'm so established in my community that I don't face the skepticism that I used to. I don't face, I do on trips and things like that, but on my day-to-day life, I'm pretty blessed.
Do you think that women, every psychic medium or someone that has demonstrated some gift to me has been a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think women are more likely to have your gift than men?
No, I just think that we're more likely to embrace it than a man. I mean, look at my grandson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're just more likely to embrace it and not be afraid to say, this is what I see and this is what I hear. But if you look in the realm of the reality, you've got like John Edwards and James Van Praagh, and so the more men are coming out. I just think as it becomes less taboo, you're going to see more men staying out. Does it mean that all of a sudden men are just now getting blessed with this? No, it just means now men are not afraid to speak out and say, hey, here I am.
Do you think it's because men are sort of trained from a young age?
Yes.
Suppress emotion, compartmentalize,
Yes.
push down?
Yes, 100%, 100%. However, if I would have been born a boy and I had this gift, my grandma still would have worked with me, just like with Oliver. And I know,
Your grandson?
Yeah, my grandson. So I know in watching him and more people in the community that you run into, and I have parents get a hold of me, my child has this, is acting this, doing this, seeing this. There's just as many young, I just think that society is changing as a whole, so guys aren't afraid to say, hey, I see and I hear.
We've got about 9 minutes left. Any more lingering questions? The next time you ask this question, you'll have to pay a lot of money. So this is your chance.
Yeah, throughout this time here, has there been anybody else trying to come through you except like that one occurrence?
Do you want to talk to someone? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I'm just wondering if anybody else did.
I've just been asking questions, but y'all are welcome to ask. I mean, y'all are welcome to ask. I've just been open and like answering your questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and different things like that.
I guess like I kind of wanted to ask about my dog.
Your dog? Okay.
He passed away. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. It's okay. He passed away in January, but we don't know why. And I kind of want to know if you can like kind of tell me why.
Okay, so, but he passed away happy, right? That's all they're saying is that.
I think so.
Yeah, they're saying that he passed away happy, and you didn't miss anything. Whatever it was so fast. You weren't the only one that didn't notice it. It was all the way across the board. No one noticed it. Do you understand that? Because they're saying you didn't miss anything. No one's seen it. So that it was something quick, it was something fast, and that they were happy. So it's almost like, kind of like you hear of like humans that have those aneurysms and it was quick, because you didn't miss anything. No one could have found or no one could have seen, is what they're saying. Does that make sense? And that Because sometimes when it happens, we can look back and say, yeah, I overlooked this, but they're saying you guys didn't overlook anything. You wouldn't have found anything, you wouldn't have seen anything, you wouldn't have known anything. Does that help you? It was very quick, and then, but then, so sad for who found the dog. Who found the dog?
I think it was my dad. But
Your-
they didn't tell me until, they found him in the morning, but they didn't tell me until night.
Yeah, so that was hard on them for finding and not telling you, because they're saying that was the hardest part of watching this play out, is it was hard on them for not tell you for a reason. But they didn't miss anything. They're just saying there wasn't any sign, there was nothing that you could have seen. And sometimes that just happens. It doesn't make it any less, but most times when our pets pass, we can pinpoint, yep, I remember this is when they started going down, or this happened, and they're saying that didn't happen with your baby. It was just here and then gone. Does that make sense? Look for signs. You get signs from pets just like humans. I'm telling you, there'll be signs. There'll be those signs. Do you have another pet?
I had his father before.
I mean, do you have a pet now in the home?
They don't want to get another.
But when you do, that pet will also see that pet. So they'll just so you know, pets are very paranormal. But what they're saying is, you guys you didn't miss anything, and I think that's where you guys are beating yourself up. You're trying to think back, but there was nothing there. Does that make sense? But someday when you do get a new pet, that pet will see. But those will be signs, and you'll be able to tell.
Anyone else?
It's kind of more like a personal question. Me and my sister always believed that my mom was kind of spiritually connected somehow. And we always thought that our family members who have passed away has always protected me, because she's always had like mixed experiences. And I just want to know, it's like something that
100% missed experiences are always people looking out for us. Kind of like people who will tell you, I just knew not to go down that road, and they went home a different way, and then there was a bad accident. That's why I always tell people, if you get those guts, follow what you're hearing. The same thing is, if someone pops into your head that you ain't talked to in a long time, reach out to them. If they're in your head all the time, maybe you can do something like her for her friend. If you guys get a memory, or you're thinking check on so-and-so or check on so-and-so, do it. Those are messages. Those are little messages from the other side. My grandma has saved me from so much stuff since she's been on the other side that I can't even begin to tell you. I know she saved me and his husband both from a dark presence in one of our investigations. I was literally here to here away from this thing.
what was it?
It was something dark, something in a dark place. At the same time his camera died, he had no clue what was going on in my head, and that's when my grandma said, stop. Everything died in his. The flashlight started going like this all by itself at the top of the stairs. It was just a really dark, not good energy. And so it probably could have attached to us. But we have more people looking out for us. Attachments are very rare, y'all. Very rare.
It's my only rule for Josh.
Don't bring it home.
Yes. Well, actually, it's more that if you do, don't ever ask why I'm mad. You'll know the answer
Yes.
for the rest of our lives. Anyone else?
I wanted to ask, so my grandfather passed away last year in April. And like, we didn't get to go see him because he was in Mexico. Like, I'm sorry, was he like in pain?
No, here's the thing. Your grandpa he pushed people away anyways. Do you understand that? So it was not just you. He's saying he kept everybody away. So you're saying you didn't, and he's correcting you. He said nobody did. Do you understand that? So sometimes people do that. So he was not, and even though he may have pushed you guys away, the other side still would have been there with him. But you're taking it so personally, but he pushed everybody away is what he's saying. Do you understand that? Okay. But he's okay. Just so you know, but it wasn't just you that didn't come. Because this is kind of in a reading when someone tells me one thing like you're saying you didn't, he's saying no one did, I pushed everyone away. And so that's where the validation comes in when you asked how do you know. because I could have just went with, oh, it's okay, honey, he's good. He said, no, I pushed everyone. It wasn't just you. Everyone had that same experience. So talk to him. Here's the thing, you guys, I hear you all the time. You never need anyone like me to talk to your loved ones. I come in to help you understand it and to hear from them. You never need me to talk to them. They're your people. But that's where the validation, like you asked about in a reading, I could have just went with your grandpa's okay, it's all good. But he just wants you to know, it was not just you, no one came. I pushed everyone away. I wasn't a very soft person.
I think we have a question. We have a question for one more time. We have time for one more question.
Can you tell me about my cousin? He died like 5 years ago.
So is that why my 5 was up? Okay.
Yeah. He died 5 years ago. I had to deliver the news to my brother, and they're really close.
Was your brother supposed to be with your cousin that day or something?
He was.
Yeah, because your cousin's saying your brother was supposed to be with me. Yes. Yes. So I'm sorry, what's your question? When that happens, I just start listening to them and not you. So I don't mean, but before you asked, did you see my 5 was up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before you ask, and your cousin is just grateful that your brother was not with him.
Had he been like able to see my brother just 'cause like my brother thinks of like his accomplishments of like being for him.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see that?
He does, but he said that your brother's annoying, first of all. And that your brother needs to understand his own worth because he doesn't, and he's got to quit doing things for him. Your brother's accomplishing things your cousin never would accomplish, first of all. Your brother's gone down a totally different path than your cousin would have ever went down. So he wants him to do it for him and not him. And I know you're recording this, so if you could get that clip to her brother so he knows that his cousin is really saying this and not you, because he's not going to listen to anything you say anyway. Because the cousin just said she's just going to talk to a wall. She's better off. If maybe he could see it and see I had the 5 up and understand he was supposed to be. He's proud of his accomplishments, but they're his. They're not your cousin's. Your cousin wants him to have those accomplishments. He's choosing things and accomplishing things your cousin never would have. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Tammy.
You're welcome.